I am taking a massive risk, just saying this out loud right now. But before I drop this information, I need you to do something for me. Go to the comments and type your city name. Then tell me honestly, have you noticed anything unusual in the night sky recently? Any flickering stars? Any lights moving in ways physics can't explain? NASA is quietly collecting this data right now, and what they are finding is deeply disturbing. Do it now, because what I am about to share might fundamentally change the way you see humanity as a fragile place in the universe. I never thought I would be the one to say this on record, but we are being watched, and now they have spoken again. My name is Dr. Michio Kaku, and I have spent my entire life studying the cosmos, black holes, string theory, the very fabric of space-time. And I have always believed the universe operates on principles we can measure, predict, and understand, but what happened 3 weeks ago has shaken that belief to its core. A new transmission was detected, not from Earth, not from any satellite we launched. It came from 3 IATLAS, the interstellar object that entered our solar system in 2024, the one NASA assured us was just a comet. Except this time, the message was different. This time, it mentioned something that has left the global scientific community in a state of silent terror. It mentioned the returning ones. I want you to understand something before I continue. When I say transmission, I don't mean random noise. I don't mean cosmic radiation or a glitch in our equipment. I mean a structured mathematical signal, deliberate, intelligent, and aimed directly at Earth. The first transmission from 3I Atlas was classified almost immediately. Only a handful of scientists were allowed to analyze it. I was one of them. We were told it was a fluke, a strange anomaly, something we would study quietly and forget. But we didn't forget, and now we can't. The second transmission arrived on a Friday evening during a routine observation session at the Arecibo successor facility in Puerto Rico. The team wasn't even looking for it. They were tracking a completely different object, a rogue asteroid passing through the Kuiper Belt. And then, without warning, every receiver in the building lit up. The signal was so strong, so clear, that for a moment, the lead astronomer thought the system had been hacked. But it wasn't a hack, it was a message. And it was coming from the exact coordinates where 3I Atlas had last been observed. Far beyond the orbit of Neptune, drifting silently through the dark, the transmission lasted 11 minutes. 11 minutes of pure, undiluted information. And when the team played it back, they realized it wasn't just data. It was language, not English, not binary, but something older. Something that felt like it had been encoded into the fabric of mathematics itself. The message used prime numbers as a foundation, layered with recursive sequences that mapped onto known physical constants, the speed of light, Planck's constant, defined structure constant. Whoever sent this knew exactly how we think, they knew how we measure reality, and they wanted us to understand. But here is what terrified me. Buried within that transmission, in a section that took our best cryptographers and AI systems 4 days to decode, was a phrase, just one phrase, repeated 7 times in different mathematical variations. The returning ones are close now. I know what you are thinking. Maybe it's a mistranslation. Maybe we are projecting meaning onto something that's just a natural phenomenon. Believe me, I wanted to think that too. I wanted to dismiss it, but then NASA cross-referenced the signal with deep space telemetry data from the James Webb Space Telescope, and what they found made my blood run cold. They're objects moving toward our solar system, not 1, not 2. 17 distinct, massive objects, each roughly the size of Manhattan, traveling in perfect formation at a speed that defies everything we know about propulsion physics. They are decelerating. That is the key word. Decelerating natural objects don't decelerate in deep space. They don't move in formation, and they certainly don't send transmissions ahead of their arrival. Let me take you back for a moment. Let me tell you what 3i Atlas really is, or at least what we think it is now. When it was first discovered, astronomers classified it as an interstellar comet. It had come from beyond our solar system, which was rare, but not unprecedented. Oumuamua had done the same thing in 2017, but 3i Atlas was different. It didn't behave like a comet. It didn't have the tail. It didn't follow a predictable trajectory. And when we analyzed its spectral signature, we found something that didn't match any known material in our solar system. The surface wasn't ice. It wasn't rock. It was something metallic, something layered, something that reflected light in a way that seemed almost intentional. At the time, the scientific community debated whether it was a natural object or something else, but the debate ended quickly, too quickly. The data was classified, the papers were pulled, and those of us who had seen the findings were politely told to move on. But I didn't move on. None of us did. We kept watching, we kept listening, and now we know why they didn't want us to look too closely, because 3i Atlas isn't a comet. It's a probe, a scout, and it's been sending reports back to something much, much larger. The phrase, the returning ones, has been analyzed by linguistic experts, theologians, historians, and AI language models. Every analysis points to the same conclusion. This isn't the first time they've been here. The word returning implies prior contact. It implies history. And when you start digging into that history, into ancient texts, into myths, into the cosmological records of civilizations that existed thousands of years before modern science, you start to see patterns. The Sumerians spoke of the Anunnaki, beings who descended from the stars and taught humanity the secrets of agriculture and mathematics. The Vedic texts described the Vimanas, flying chariots, piloted by gods who waged wars in the sky. The Dogon tribe of Mali possessed knowledge of the Sirius star system that they couldn't have discovered without advanced telescopes. Were these myths or were they memories? I used to think mythology was just humanity's way of explaining the unexplainable, but now I'm not so sure. What if these stories weren't invented? What if they were records? What if the returning ones are exactly what the name suggests? Beings who visited Earth long ago, who left and who are now coming back? The 17 objects currently moving toward our solar system are not natural. Their trajectory suggests they originated from a region near the constellation Lyra, approximately 1,200 light years away. That is impossibly far for any known technology, even traveling at a fraction of the speed of light. The journey would take millennia, but these objects aren't traveling at a fraction of light speed. They're traveling faster, far faster, and the way they're moving suggests some form of space-time manipulation, something that might involve warping the fabric of space itself, a concept I've spent decades theorizing about, but never believed I'd see proven in my lifetime. And then there's the question that keeps me awake at night. Why now? Why, after thousands of years, are they returning? What changed? Was it something we did? Was it our technology, our nuclear tests, our radio signals, our ventures into space? Or was it something else, something cyclical, something that happens every few thousand years, like a cosmic alarm clock that we were never meant to hear? The transmission from 3i Atlas didn't just mention the returning ones. It also included a schematic, a diagram. When our team reconstructed it, we realized it was a map, not of stars, but of time. It showed Earth at different points in history, and at each point there was a marker, a moment of contact, 10,000 BC, 3000 BC, 500 AD, and then 2025, that is this year. The pattern suggests that contact isn't random. It's scheduled, and if the pattern holds, we're due for another visit soon. But here's the part that truly haunts me. The map didn't just show Earth's past. It showed Earth's future, and in that future something changes. The diagram depicted our planet surrounded by a grid, lattice of energy or technology that we don't yet understand. Some of the scientists who've seen it believe it's a shield, a quarantine, others think it's a cage. Either way, the implication is clear, and after this contact, after the returning ones arrive, humanity as we know it will be different forever. There is a theory in astrobiology called the zoo hypothesis. It suggests that advanced extraterrestrial civilizations are aware of us but choose not to make contact, observing us instead like animals in a zoo. Some scientists find this theory comforting. I find it terrifying because if it's true, it means we've been watched our entire existence. Every war, every discovery, every moment of human history has been observed by something far more intelligent than we are. And if that's true, then the returning ones aren't strangers. They're caretakers or perhaps handlers. Another theory that's gained traction in the wake of this discovery is the simulation hypothesis. The idea that our reality is a constructed simulation run by a vastly superior intelligence. If the returning ones are the architects of that simulation, then their return could represent a reset, a recalibration, or worse, an ending. The phrase, "the returning ones are close," was in the present tense. Based on the trajectory data, if these objects maintain their current speed and course, they'll reach the outer edge of our solar system within 18 months. That is all we have. 18 months to prepare, 18 months to decide what humanity's response will be. Do we reach out with open arms, hoping for peace and knowledge? Or do we fortify, preparing for the possibility that their intentions aren't benign? These are questions that should be discussed openly, debated in every nation, every community, every household, but instead they're being debated in secret behind closed doors by people who believe they're protecting us. There was a second message buried even deeper in the transmission. It was shorter, only 3 words. But those 3 words have consumed my thoughts every day since I first saw them. The message said, "Remember who you are." What does that mean? Is it a reminder of our humanity? A call to remember our origins? Or is it something more literal? A suggestion that we've forgotten something fundamental about ourselves, about our history, about our connection to whatever's out there. Some researchers believe it's a reference to collective consciousness. The idea that all intelligent life in the universe is connected at some quantum level. Others think it's a clue, a hint that humanity's past is not what we've been taught. We stand at the threshold of a new era. For millennia, we've looked up at the stars and wondered if we were alone. Now we're about to get our answer. And that answer will redefine everything. Our science, our philosophy, our spirituality, our sense of self. I think about consciousness a lot these days. What is it? Where does it come from? Is it unique to biological life, or can it exist in other forms? If the returning ones possess a form of consciousness that's far more advanced than ours, what does that mean for the concept of free will? I don't have all the answers, but I believe the first step is awareness. That's why I'm sharing this with you. Because when the returning ones arrive, we need to be united. We need to face them not as divided nations or competing ideologies, but as one species, one planet, one voice. Follow this channel as we continue decoding the universe's final warnings. This is just the beginning. I want to leave you with one final question. When the returning ones arrive, when they stand before us and demand that we remember who we are, what will you say? Are we the sum of our wars and our greed, or are we the sum of our potential? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, because this conversation isn't over. It's just beginning. The returning ones are close, and whether we're ready or not, they're almost here.